trying to vlog without getting run over. Okay, so this weekend, Mike, Naoto, Sky, Jacob, myself, we all went to Terroir. This was our first opportunity. This year they actually asked us to be a sponsor, which first of all, we were very flattered, but we immediately jumped on the opportunity to tell a story. So for those who aren't in the know, I'll often describe Terroir as sort of like TED Talks, but for chefs. And while that's true to an extent, there's a big public speaking component to it, and that's a very important aspect of it. It's so much more than that. The concept of terroir is about a sense of place and all the aspects of that place, the culture, the soil, everything that go into making food and making a specific food taste the way it does. So this year Terroir was based out of Calgary, Alberta, my hometown. It's where the Knifewear home office is and where our first store ever opened. So we're pretty excited. So this is the story of Terroir. It's not the complete story. This is the Terroir 2023, and it's just a small snapshot of what's happening in the culinary industry these days and where the world of food is going as a whole. It's pretty cool, so stay tuned. Hey, good to see you. It's day 0 of Terroir. That was a great shot.
It's a great shot.
Cinematic
It wasn't faked at all. Like, we're just recording all the time.
Yeah, totally natural. Okay, so it's day 0 of Terroir. The event hasn't even totally started yet, but we are currently driving through beautiful, scenic southern Alberta, especially gorgeous in the fall. All the leaves are turning. Look at that. Oh my God. So we're driving through here, heading kind of towards Water Valley, and we're going to be going on a foraging walk today. Our main guide today is going to be
Denny Manzer, and I'm a forager, wild forager, herbalist. I've been doing this for about 12 years in Alberta. This is probably one of the pinnacles of my whole life and career.
We're also going to meet, for the first time, Paul Vandenhoeven from Wild Vleesh in the Netherlands, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he does butchery, but he makes sausage and cured products and all that kind of thing too. So tomorrow he's going to be breaking down the elk with some of the other butchers and making some sausage and doing a dinner with it on Sunday.
This one's good.
Will you tell me a little bit about what kind of sausages you're planning on making tomorrow?
I don't know yet. We're gonna see what we've got and then just make it like a jam session.
That's gonna add some meat to it. The other thing we're going for is crab apples, very traditional. We're going for junipers. I picked a whack of juniper berries, and then our chef is saying he's gonna use the wood to smoke the sausages with. There it all is. No, it was on the bottom. Yeah. It was under the flap.
That evening we headed down to Rouge in Inglewood for the first signature dinner of Terroir in Calgary. This is the Acorns to Oaks dinner. It was a collaboration dinner with a bunch of chefs and their mentors. And so they were getting back together once again and making some incredible dishes. I even knew a couple of the chefs there. Kira is a friend of my family's, and Corey Novid is a good friend of Knifewear's. So it was a nice chance to get to see them in action.
We're going to be starting the butchery in about an hour. This is my first time seeing an elk. It is pretty gnarly.
Day 1, dawn of the first day. We are here at the butchery workshop is well underway. We've got a whole elk behind us. We've got it busted down into quarters already. And so Paul and Elise and Blair are all breaking down a quarter each. But they're also using stone tools made by Dale. He's a local archaeologist and a guy that just makes stone tools, makes recreations of traditional tools. And he's a super cool guy, so he's here chipping away, making some knives and sharpening knives. It's pretty fun so far.
They should be wearing safety glasses. I left them over there.
They're real safety glasses and squint.
I mean, they didn't have safety glasses in the Stone Age. Well, I just found it amazing that I was invited to begin with stone tools at a food symposium. They've been used in Alberta for the last 14,000 years. To see that in action today is pretty cool. And in a time of like truth and reconciliation, when we're understanding Indigenous ways of knowing, I thought it was an incredible opportunity to bring this here and see how it works in action.
You know, from a very young age, I was exposed to hunting, trapping, fishing, skinning animals, either big game or small game. So I always took that for granted. But like I said, not everybody was exposed to that kind of information, and I was. So I'm very thankful for that. And it kind of fits in with what they're doing. And, you know, seeing the similarities for me is like, that's pretty cool. You know, there is some parallels, I guess, to the non-Indigenous and the Indigenous.
Okay, it's lunchtime on day one. We have some braised beef on bread. Looks really good. I assume it's beef. We have some chapati with cauliflower, chickpeas.
Like a
like
masala something around.
Yeah, and then we have some braised pork belly. And probably also more food, but this is what we're eating for lunch. Looks really good. How is it, Sky?
Oh my god.
I can't remember what workshops. There's a pen.
If you want to ask us any questions or be interviewed, we will ask you some interesting questions.
Are you interviewing me?
Apparently.
There were some incredible vendors and sponsors this year at Terroir. We had some amazing stroopwafels, and Jacob from Knifewear Calgary was even running a cherry tomato slicing competition, with the winner winning a search and rescue apron. That afternoon was a cocktail competition of local bartenders, each one tasked with making a cocktail inspired by Calgary terroir. One cocktail was even inspired by John Ware, an amazing Alberta story, a famous black cowboy who moved up here from the United States in the post-slavery era and became a very successful rancher in the area. But the cocktails were incredible, each one super unique and all representing Alberta terroir.
We don't even know where those strawberries came from.
That evening, we headed down to Milpa, an incredible contemporary Mexican restaurant. The signature dinner was amazing. It was all vegetarian dishes, and it was all prepared by different women chefs, both from Calgary and from abroad. So there was Andrea Harling and Leanna Robrecht from Calgary, Salasa Adeidaki from Ghana, Lisa Carlson, Carrie Summer from the US, and a few other incredible chefs, Ann Selmer from Gochu Chocolate, Jenny Kang. So we were pretty lucky to check that out and enjoy a delicious cocktail while we were there. Today's been a little more of a chill day. In the morning at 10, Elise and Blair did an offal workshop, and so we got to eat some heart and some liver and some tongue. They made banh mi, and they just talked a lot about eating different parts of the animal more and about more sustainably eating, because you know, if you're not eating all of the animal, then you're wasting a bunch of the animal, and that's pretty silly. Yeah, we ate a bunch of different parts of the animal and learned about it and learned about why they're safe and nutritious and all that. And then Paul made his sausage with Denis.
Well, in Rotterdam, every Saturday I'm on the market, and it's a small market for local producers. And what we are trying to do is get people from the city to know who are making their food, which farmers, which breeders. I'm always there with sausages and fresh meat.
And they made an incredible juniper sausage. They made one with some crab apples. Pretty good, hey?
It was very good.
Yeah. The juniper was my favorite for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he like kind of ground it up before he like, put it in there, and then they brought it around and let us smell the juniper berry, which was really cool since yesterday, like, we just went and ate them straight. And it was just awesome being able to follow it from like us picking it in the woods all the way to like taking it to making a sausage out of it, cooking it on the spot right after it had been cased. It was just so good.
So good. Pretty cool. And then Matt has just been talking about sourdough for the past like couple hours and made like Roman style pizza and some incredible sandwiches. Chocolate focaccia.
He did something insane to the cherries. Italian cherries?
Yeah, it was Italian maraschino cherries that were just like roasted on top. It was pretty incredible.
So what I like to do is pick it up and really stretch it. This dough is quite forgiving, so you can actually pick it right up in the air like that. Place it onto your peel. When I do a pizza pop-up, I cook 50 pizzas by myself in 2 hours. I didn't do that today. So they're just putting on some, and it's hot, you got chef hands, in the middle. It's not really a pizza. She has a future in bacon. She's got a long way to go. She's the consultant and recipe developed for Eshmak, which is a spiral mixer company. And I had actually...
So we got some chocolate workshops tonight, and then we're gonna go check out the dinner at Bar Chouette with Paul and Duncan, and and then on to the last day tomorrow. As we walked in the front door, the chef happened to be complaining about how dull his knives were. So I popped back to the car, grabbed some sharpening stones, and tuned up his knives before we took off. All right, day 3. We are in a different location today. We are at the Jack Singer Concert Hall, where the Calgary Philharmonic Orchestra performs. We're eating baklava.
Water baklava cronut?
Yeah, so fucking good. Oh.
Second half.
Okay, so today is kind of when people talk about terroir, sometimes they call it the TED Talks of food. And like I said earlier, it's so much more than that, but this is the day that's kind of really like that. It's more open to the general public. And there's a lot of great talks from people in the industry. So I'm really excited to check that out. Paul's going to be giving a talk near the end of the day. There's one about women in the industry. It should be super cool. We are also set up here. We got a table. Mike's here with us. We are slicing some ham, doing a little side-by-side comparison called the Taste of Sharpness, something Masashi-san came up with. And then, yeah, there's all sorts of great vendors around here with different food and cookbooks and aprons, all sorts of great stuff. So we're going to interview some folks today and check out the talks and just have a good time.
Early morning start, but we've got 12 hours of programming today, and we're hoping you're going to enjoy every minute of it as much as you did the last 2 days.
The Elbow River and the Bow Rivers meet, and this has been a gathering spot for over 3,000 years.
That was a really good look for Paul. So yeah, I make chocolate. I make the chocolate that I want to eat, and yeah, we have a lot of fun. We make bonbons and bars of sponge toffee, and we're doing our pendulum painting tonight. But chocolate is such an interesting medium to work with because you have this liquid, but then it crystallizes and you can make it form all these solid shapes. I'm always sort of thinking about what I could do differently with it, and I saw a video of the pendulum painting and I thought that would be a great thing to do with chocolate, and nobody's done it before, so I thought let's try it and see how it works, and it works really well. Stepping out of our usual routines with what we do with food.
I think you're like, I get it. We forget to have fun with our food.
Right.
Sometimes, not only as chefs, but also just like at home, right?
Right, absolutely. And we have these patterns, and this is what you do with this ingredient. You know, with the bison, and they've got a marshmallow cream to go with it.
And it was so good.
Yeah. And, you know, it doesn't, you just take a step out of the ordinary and you have something amazing.
After a morning full of talks and a lot of chocolate, it was time for lunch. And this was a very exciting lunch, not only because the food was delicious, but because some of the lunch was from elk cut up on the Saturday during the butchery session. So Duncan Lee made a delicious elk tataki with a charcoal-infused oil. Jessica Pelland made this unbelievable elk pate with a little crostini. There was even elk meatballs and elk ragu with fresh gnocchi. It was unbelievable.
Anybody want some prosciutto?
Of course.
Good night.
Hello, camera. It's very nice and comfy. Terroir beds.
So what does terroir mean to you?
It's terroir. It's in my dreams right now.
After lunch, we got a chance to catch some interviews with some of the incredible speakers that were at Terroir this year. So we got to sit down with Kiki Aranita and Ari Miller, and they had some incredible stuff to say about Terroir.
So my whole life's mission is manifested in multiple different ways, but it's to honestly represent the food culture of Hawaii. I am very lucky that I am working with like an expanded definition of the term chef. So I was very uncomfortable with this term for a long time because I didn't feel like I deserved it until I ran my own kitchen. Then I ran my own kitchen and then closed my restaurant. So I've had to work with this redefinition of chef.
I think for me, what's super valuable and super important about chefing is the community building. Terroir is really such a central place to engage in those types of conversations, compounded by the fact that this is a whole other country with whole other cultural paradigms, and
that I find is so valuable in terms of my ability and the larger ability to see past your own, immediate reality to learn and to grow past that.
Yeah, this is my third time in Calgary. Like, I never thought I would come to Calgary 3 times in 2 years. So.
After that, I made sure to catch Brigitte Hedden-Curtin, who is a Swedish-born Irish fish smoker. She's a marine biologist, but she also has an incredible smokehouse where she makes smoked salmon.
I am Birgitta Hedin-Curtin. I'm the founder, CEO of this Burn Smokehouse on the west coast of Ireland, where we exist in a little village called Listonvarna, which is in the middle of nowhere, but because of the cliffs of Moher, it's actually center of the universe. So, Ireland was never industrialized, and as a result, the land is clean. I studied marine biology and marine botany, so from that point of view, it was amazing to come to the west coast of Ireland and discover the pristine waters of the west coast. So, terroir means to me place and where the products comes from. Understanding also the indigenous people, that's actually been a huge influence on this event here. I mean, I grew up in forest, on the land. I can connect completely with talking how the indigenous people talk about their moose, their elk, and hunting and eating the produce from the land. And I feel very fortunate to have experienced that, for people to grow up and learn how things should taste. The herbalist Matisa was, amazing to listen to her story, and also I thought, what she gave was also the spiritual element of it. So the spiritual, I'm here, I'm picking, and this is what has been given to me, and I just love. She did this gesture where, she said the elders would have berries and they take one berry and they offer it to the gods. And that's the spiritual part of it's not only, produce without a soul. And I think that, for me, actually was, I think it was the most important thing that I reconnected with the understanding of. Just that gesture in itself was very impactful for me.
We're doing elk tartare, horseradish cream.
Nathan has stolen the big camera. I'm currently using the other one to do a time lapse of chocolate art. And I have found where our elk went. Tartare with some sort of horseradish from Chef Josh that I'm going to put on the screen right here. But this is the best thing I have eaten all weekend. It is absolutely delicious. I don't need a third one. I don't need a third elk tartare, okay? Here I am.
Okay, day 4, 5? I don't know what day it is. The final day of Terroir. We're driving out to Banff. We're just driving through the Rockies right now. This is going to be a much more chill day. We're just eating, drinking, meeting chefs, touring the Banff food scene, showing a bunch of our international guests the incredible terroir that is the Rocky Mountains, and Banff especially. So I'm excited. I'm just going to kind of chat with people and try to capture some good conversations and have a good time out in the mountains. It's going to be pretty fun. I'm excited. In Banff, we got split into groups and we toured 4 restaurants in 2 hours and had a little meal and a cocktail at each. So it was a bit of a whirlwind. I got to hang out with Paul, but also Connie D'Souza and John Jackson of Charcut, Char Bar, Connie and John's, and a number of other great restaurants in Calgary. Sal Howell, Kevin's old boss from River Cafe, and Arlene Stein, the founder of Terroir.
We started 17 years ago in Toronto as a way to bring together the hospitality community around ideas of terroir-driven food systems, sustainability, ethics in food, But it was also a way to bring together all facets of the industry so that we could actually engage with each other and create a community. The weekend was amazing. Major themes were mixology. We had a mixology contest. We had tons of pizza, so we brought in a pizza maker from Chicago. We had my friend Matt Duffy come in from Toronto. We also had a whole chocolate contingent working with Anne Selmers from Kochu in Calgary, Selassie Atitika from Ghana. We had Hazel Lee from the UK. So it was really a lot of interesting and prolific content around just sort of new, interesting things, all about transformation. Our theme was transformation. Of course, what you can do when you transform food into something delicious.
We spent the rest of the day eating and drinking and enjoying the incredible hospitality of Banff. And I just want to thank everybody that hosted us there so much because it was truly an incredible day.
Hey Denny, what was your favorite part of today?
So far, I'd have to say it was going to the distillery there, the Park Distillery. You know, the gin was good.
Okay, that's a wrap. That was a fun day. Got to eat a lot, have some tasty drinks, catch up with some people that I met over the weekend. What a great weekend. My heart is very full. Met so many cool people. Just had a great time, you know, talking to people, learning from people, sharing ideas. If I were to leave you with a thought, I would say if you can make it to Terroir in 2024 in Calgary, it'll be the last year in Calgary. Come down and check it out. You're gonna meet a lot of really cool, incredible, passionate chefs and industry folks. You're gonna eat some incredible food. But if you can't, or you know, if you can't wait until a year from now, in the meantime, try to explore your own local terroir. You know, try to engage with food in your area and the people that make it, whether that's just supporting a local restaurant or trying to grow your own food in your garden or on your balcony, or finding somebody like Denis who can take you out foraging and gathering wild ingredients. Trying to explore what terroir means to you, and just don't forget to eat more offal. See you later, guys.